Hello everyone and welcome to another How Lou Sees It review. This evening I'm reviewing a game called Freshwater Fly, designed by Brian Sewer and published by Bellwether Games. This is for 1 to 4 players and takes around about an hour and a half to play, and ages 14 and up. You could probably play a little bit younger, but I mean, the simple gameplay, but maybe some of the strategy and things could be a little much. So there's a lot going on. Let's show you what comes in the box and some of the gameplay elements, and kind of talk about things that I enjoy about the game and things that maybe I did not. So Freshwater Fly is a beautiful game about fly fishing. Very excited to get my hands on a copy of this game because I do enjoy fishing quite a bit. I'm not really good at it, and I have never learned to fly fish yet, but I would really would like to. So first of all, you'll notice as we start looking at some of these components that the artwork is just stunning. It's really nice artwork. Really enjoy the artwork in this game. Very nice components as well. This is, I don't know if it's a demo. I can't remember if it's the again, we can't remember the terminology, but if it's, you know, one of the kind of last kind of proof copies, if you will, or not. But the components, these may not completely be final. I'm not exactly sure. But if they're not, I mean, they seem to be. So some instructions. The instructions are pretty good. Really good, actually. I mean, they have good pictures, good description of the different elements there. I think there are still some elements of the rule book that probably are still getting kind of finished up. But pretty good on the rules. You have 4 of these cool player boards, which have this little reel in it. We'll get to how that works with the game. They come with some cardboard pieces as well for like the flies. We have a deck of fish cards that are double-sided. And there are some special tokens that you can get in the game. They are also... Ooh, excuse me. Holding back a sneeze there. Don't want to scare the fish away. But we have double-sided cardboard pieces there as well. And then down below, there's some cardboard pieces that hold what they call the hatch tokens on there that will be sliding down. We have a big casting token here. There's a bag with the hatch tokens in there. And a bunch of dice. Okay, so in this game, what you're trying to do is you're trying to catch fish, obviously, and there's different ways you're going to score points in the game. One is each of the fish, once you have caught a fish, you're going to be flipping it over, and when you are able to reel in that fish, they're going to give you the number of points listed on the card. As you can see here, they vary in points. So that's one way to get points. The game ends when someone has caught 7 fish, and catching fish, straight up points there. We also give points for basically sets of the different types of fish here. As you can see, there's gold, there's like this grayish, and then like a greenish color as well. The first to get 7 fish, or 7 or more fish, will get some bonus points, and then you get you know, whoever had the most of this type of fish, the co-fish, would also get some bonus points there. And then, so you have fish, you have those achievement points. You also have each player board is slightly different, but they also have for each like pairing of fish and different things, some points there as well. And then there are some special cards here. These rock cards either give you like special powers or special things to use throughout the game. But maybe, oh, yep, there's one. But some of these rock cards also have additional scoring, end game scoring as well. So lots of different ways to get points, but it's all done through catching fish. So let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. What's going to happen in the gameplay is you roll all the dice, and then it's basically dice selection from there. Ooh, that was a really good roll. So what's going to happen is I'm going to select one of these, and for the cast action, what I'm looking at is this bottom row here. It's at the top as well, but it shows the number. So if I'm looking for a specific type of fish, I may want to cast in this sixth column here. I would select the 6. Or if I'm eyeing a fish maybe further down, I may want to cast upriver a little bit as well, because I'll show you. So what happens, what this looks like is I'm going to take the 6, I would pick where that goes there, and for this, the player to my right or left, I can't remember which, is going to take this deck of cards and I'm going to shuffle them up. If I have a hatch token that matches, my fly matches one of those, then I would go ahead and be able to have them deal 1 strike card. If, in this case, there's no yellow hatch marker here, or hatch token, it would then drift downstream. So I'd be able to choose, since I was in the middle, any one of these. I'm going to switch any of these. I'll go up here. You know what? I'm going to switch again here. I'm going to modify this just a little bit. So there wasn't one here. You can drift up to 2 times. Now, after you've drifted once or twice, you're going to be able to draw 2 of the hit markers. So I'm going there, and they'll pick it over. No hit there. Get another one. Because I have a yellow thing there, was not able to catch the fish. But there are different ways that you can manipulate it, either through like finesse. You can get another hit card, which is very beneficial. Did not help me in that case. In that case, I just would not catch a fish. But if you are lucky enough to get the 1 hit card in there, then what happens here is I would be able to take this fish, I would flip it over, and I would place this in the matching colored zone. And when I reel it in, it's going to give me 3 points, and it has a strength of 1. Now, because when you catch a fish next to the rock, that would also get one of the special rock cards that I'd be able to play in front of me, and does different bonuses throughout the game. Now, that is casting and being able to get a fish on the line. I would then take the hatch token that was there and place it here up front on my reel, ready to start reeling in this fish. I would then go ahead and bring in from the top of the deck a new fish, and the dice would be passed to the next player. They would choose one, and it would continue on. Now, on my next turn, you cannot do a cast action when you have a fish on the line. You do not have 2 fishing rods, right? So you only have 1, and at this point, I got to start reeling in this fish. Now, to do that, what you're going to do is, based on whatever you have chosen for the die, you take that number minus the fish strength, and that's how many times you get to move this around. So I could move it around 4 times. I go 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, wherever it lands, I'm going to do that action. So in this case, if I move it 1, I would be able to take this and basically place it on the fish strength. Now it's fish strength of 0 for the rest of the time. So very useful, especially for when it's here. Very, very beneficial. In this case, I landed here. If it's a green fish, you would just finish it out. If it's a gold one, you'd move it back and gain 1 finesse. Move your finesse marker. In this case, it would just sit there. I wouldn't do anything. On my next turn, let's say I gained a 4, then I'm going to be passing this, and that's going to move my fish now from gray to green. and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, I would gain a finesse. Actually, it would be only 3 because it's 4 minus 1. And I would gain one of these special tokens up here, which would help me later in the game. But once I finally get around when it's in the green and I get here or pass it, now I have caught the fish and I'd be able to put it in front of me over here somewhere. And that's how you catch fish. And that's basically the main element of the game. You can utilize die instead of taking the die and using it here. Let's say I'm just really kind of stuck, or there's just low numbers left and it's not going to really help me that much. I can take the die and gain, that's what this is reminding me, 2 finesse, and that would move it up. And it's kind of an interesting special action point system for the finesse. So depending on what zone I'm in are the different special actions. So if I'm in this zone, I can do these different actions where I can add or subtract 1 to the die. I can move a hatch marker left or right adjacently. So if there's a row that I want but it doesn't work, then I can do that. Get another hit card, or one of these cards, draw one. Hopefully I can get a fish on the line. This one allows you to swap out or turn over your fly. So if you may need to switch out who you're going for. Plus there's different scoring for when you've caught the fish. You also hold on to these hatch tokens. And so you may need certain colors or different things of that. So switching your flies for that is also important. And up here, you can also take your strength of your fish down to 0. Every single time you use one of these actions, it goes down by 1. So it doesn't go down all the way. You don't need to spend 4, but you need to be up there to use it, and then it would go down. And then I can only use this or these actions, and it would go down, and so on. So that is basically the game. At the end of the round, you're going to go through when all the dice pool has been taken, and you're going to shift. And they've made this pretty nice, actually, so that you just kind of have to push. They have a little notch in them, and so I'm just going to push them onto the board. And the piece that's taken off here, these hatch tokens will go back in the bag, and we'll redraw and kind of fill that up for the next round. And that is Freshwater Fly. The components are great, the artwork's great. My favorite element of this game is the feel of fishing for the theme. The drifting downstream, the flow of the hatch markers, everything just has a nice feel of a river flowing downstream. So I really enjoy that mechanic, as well as when you hook a fish on the line and you're not exactly sure how difficult the fish is. If it's going to be an easy one to reel in or if it's going to be a difficult one. And so as you get it on the line, you get a feel of, okay, this is what this fish is going to be like. What am I going to use with my finesse actions to help? And what am I going to do with my actions to try to get this fish in as quickly as possible? Obviously, I'm going to want to try to get that covered as soon as I can. And as you reel it in, as you're moving this along, it's just that, again, that mechanic and that thematic element of just moving this around, I think is really, really cool concept, really cool, and feels like you're kind of reeling in a fish. And so then it's going to go down to the next zone, and then the next zone until you actually catch it and bring it in. So really, really enjoy that element of it. The only downside that I see to this one is it's doing the same things over and over again. So it just feels a little bit repetitive in the essence of, you're casting it, you get it on the line, you're reeling it in, casting it on the line, reeling it in, and you doing that so many times, after a while, it felt just a little old after a little bit. But I still really enjoyed the mechanics of everything. I wonder if the length is just a little bit much for me. Again, I think it's all well thought out, and I think having all these different elements of scoring, there's a lot of different ways that you can score points, and so there's really a lot of different ways that you can kind of look at it. And if you can't get one type of fish, you can get certain hatch tokens, or you may not be able to get that fish that you're going for, but if you can go for the cohos and get for the most, then you're going to get points from there. So there's definitely a lot of different ways to score points, which is really, really cool. But again, I think the thematic element is where this is really the strongest. Love the feel of the river and the flowing downstream there, and what is this? What sort of fish am I going to get, and am I going to catch the fish? It's like, oh man, I really set myself up for success here, and I still didn't get it. And so it's really kind of setting yourself up to make sure that you can hook a fish each time, I think is really important. And then moving this along is just, it's kind of therapeutic, kind of like fishing is, right, for a lot of people. And just really, really cool. And really, all these different things are beneficial. They're very useful, but it's what do you need at the time sort of a thing. So there's just a lot going on in this box, and I love that we have so many board games about all sorts of different themes, and so really cool to see this beautiful game about fly fishing. And so just really, really top-notch job on this. And that is Freshwater Fly, Bellwether Games. Again, if this looks like something that you would enjoy, please check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and share it, subscribe. And thank you for watching. And that is how Lou sees it.